Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing a review on the Milani Gilded Gold Eyeshadow Palette. If you do want to see a review and a demo, please keep watching. I purchased this palette in early January. It came out in late December. It's been sitting in my bin here of new products and I wanted to test it out on camera with you guys. This eyeshadow palette retails for $19.99 at Ulta Beauty. That's where I purchased mine. It is also available on Target and Walmart. I'll leave the links down below in the description box if you guys are interested. Here's a closer look on what the packaging looks like. The packaging is cardboard. It says Milani Gilded Gold. When you turn it over on the back, and it does say Gilded Gold Hyper Pigmented Eyeshadow Palette, Glamorous Golds, ultra rich neutrals, and a bold pop of jade, undeniably gilded. And you do have the ingredients here on the bottom. Let's go ahead and open this up. Oh my gosh, you guys, it comes with a mirror. I haven't even opened up the eyeshadow palette and I had no idea this palette came with a mirror. I love when makeup brands do add a mirror to their palettes because I never have a mirror handy, but it does come with this plastic film. So let's remove this. Here's what all 15 shades look like in the palette. I do want to read a little bit about this eyeshadow palette on Ulta.com. It does say go for gold. Take gilded to the next level with the lavish Gilded Gold Palette by Milani. Featuring a mix of 15 crush-worthy, can't stop touching, buttery mattes, soft metallics, and duochromes in hyper-pigmented, glamorous golds, ultra-rich neutrals, and a bold pop of jade, undeniably gilded. Palette contains 5 mattes, 5 soft metallics, and 5 foils. The color story in this palette is giving me Natasha Denona vibes. I'm not sure which palette exactly, but I'll link it right over here. Let's go ahead and start swatching. The first shade in the palette is called Awesome. Ooh, this is so soft in the pan. Here's what that shade looks like. Very pigmented. I do want to blend out this shadow. Oh wow, it blends out nicely. The next shade is called Rose Nugget. Another soft shadow. Here's what Rose Nugget looks like. Very pretty, and I didn't have to dig my finger into the pan to pick up some product, which is awesome. Ooh, Rose Nugget is so pretty. I love that rose gold shade. Let's blend it out. So pretty. The third shadow is called 100p. Ooh, it's a soft matte. Here's what that looks like. This would be a great transition shade. I know you guys can barely see that, so I do have a little bit more on my finger. There we go, it's a little bit better. The next shade is called 24K. Very pretty. Here's what 24K looks like. 24K does look similar to the first shade in Awesome, but let's see what it blends out. 24K is a little bit warmer, whereas Awesome is a little bit more cool toned. I thought they were similar. After you blended them out, they are different shadows. The last shade in the top row is called Ciao Bella. Very soft in the pan. It's another shimmer shadow. Here's what Ciao Bella looks like. Pretty. Let's blend it out. The last shadow packs a punch versus the other shades. The next shadow is called Extra Basic. Matte shadow, very soft in the pan. Here's what Extra Basic looks like. It's very pretty. Another great transition shadow. Here's a little bit more of Extra Basic. It's a little bit light for my skin tone, but we can definitely work with it. The next shade is called Fembot. Another matte, very soft again in the pan. I do want to blend the shadow out. Another pretty shade. The next shade is called Ultra Gilded. Again, very soft in the pan. It's another shimmer. Blend this out. I didn't need so many gold shades. Ultra Gilded is very pigmented than the first two gold shadows. I think I'm going to use this all over my lid. The next shadow is called Eden. It's a matte shadow, very soft in the pan. Here's what Eden looks like. Here we have Eden. I feel like it didn't swatch as good, so I do have a little bit more on my finger. Not my favorite, but we'll see how it applies on the eyes. Last shade in the second row is called Boss Lady. Another shimmer shadow. Here's what Boss Lady looks like. Another gorgeous shadow. Very pretty. Do you guys see how this shadow blends out versus the previous shade in Eden? Do you see how patchy that looks? versus the other two in between. Kind of surprised. The first shade in the last row is called Cleopatra. It's another gold shadow. Very soft in the pan again. Here's what Cleopatra looks like. It's another gold. Let's blend this out. Cleopatra is an interesting shade. It's not that bright pop of gold like Ultra Gilded is, and it does have like an orange shift to it. It's so cool. Next shadow is called Crown Jewel. Very soft again. It's a shimmer shadow. Here's what Crown Jewel looks like. I actually like this shadow. Let's blend her out. This shade is so pretty. It's that dark plummy purple with a little bit of shimmer. The next shade is called Doro. Again, very soft in the pan. Here's what Doro looks like, or Doro. Let's blend this out. I do want to build up that shadow. This shade is very interesting. I don't have anything like this in my collection. The second to last shade is called For the Throne. Again, very soft in the pan. Here's what For the Throne looks like. This is interesting as well. It does have like that duochrome shift to it. I do want to build it up and blend it out. Again, I have a little bit more on my finger. This is a very interesting shade. I don't have anything like this in my collection either. The last shade in the palette is called Legacy. It's a matte shadow. Again, very soft in the pan. Here's what Legacy looks like. I'm gonna try and see if Legacy would fit on the very bottom where my elbow is. Hopefully you guys can see it. I'm gonna try and build it up, blend it out. Can you guys see Legacy? Hopefully you guys can. It's just a basic matte brown shadow. Here we have all 16 shades swatched on the back of my hand. Now we're gonna create a look using this palette. I added a little bit of concealer on my eyelids. I do want to use this green shadow in Eden. I don't want it to look patchy on my eyelids. Taking a fluffy brush, we're gonna dip into the shadow in Eden. We're gonna be blending this shade all over the crease. I'm doing little circular motions. I didn't like how the shadow did blend out on the back of my hand. It swatched a little bit patchy. The shade doesn't look as patchy. I know it looks a bit too intense. I'm gonna do the same thing on the other eye, then we're gonna tone it down with a different shadow. Taking a clean fluffy brush, we're going to dip into the shadow Extra Basic, mixing the shadow in Eden and Extra Basic together so we can tone down the green. I feel like the green is still too intense. If it's still too intense and if we can't tone it down, I'm just going to wipe it off. Using that same brush, we're going to dip into the shadow in Legendary. We're going to be applying this to our outer V, and we're going to be doing circular motion. I know it looks a bit too intense. I was just taking the shade in Legendary and sweeping it across the crease as well. Windshield wiper motions back and forth. Still concentrating the shadow in Legendary on my outer V. I'm going to leave the crease alone for now. I do want to dip into the shadow Ultra Gilded. I'm going to be using my finger and we're going to pop the shadow all over the lid. Taking a clean fluffy brush, I'm just gonna blend Ultra Gilded with the crease shadows. That way there's no harsh lines. Do you guys see how now it's kind of blending in together with one another? That's kind of the look I was going for, but not really. The green shadow was so hard to work with. I wasn't expecting the shadows to blend out that great with one another. I was expecting it to look like this. Let's do the same thing for this eye. You guys know I'm not a makeup artist. I just love makeup. Taking a flat brush, we're going to dip into the shadow Ultra Gilded. I do want to add a little bit more pop on the lid. That's why I'm using a brush versus my fingertip. That way I have more control. Adding a little bit more of the shadow in Ultra Gilded all over the lid and just defining. The shadow in Ultra Gilded really pops on the lid versus on this side. It doesn't really pop as much. I'm going to do the same thing for the other eye. I do have have a little bit of fallout underneath my eyes. I'm just gonna clean that up. I should have actually put powder underneath my eyes. It's totally fine. I'm not going anywhere. I'm just gonna be at home. Using another brush, we're gonna dip into the shadow for the throne. I'm gonna be applying this shade in my inner corner. I added mascara and a lip. For mascara, I used my L'Oreal Unlimited mascara. The lipstick shade I currently have on is by Kylie Cosmetics. It's in the shade Mont Blanc. Here's how the look turned out. My final thoughts on the Milani Gilded Gold eyeshadow palette is that I do like the palette. I just don't like how the shadow in Eden blends out. It blends out very patchy. All the other shadows blended out so nice on the back of my hand. I do have to play with this palette a bit more. So far so good, you guys. I really do like this eyeshadow palette. It does come with a mirror and it retails for $20. If you guys did enjoy this video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, please do subscribe. I will see you guys in my next video.